Hey, Jack.
Marcy, I'm super excited. We've been getting a lot of deals at Gelt Financial on, I'm going to use the word inherited properties.
Inherited properties.
People who are
Yep.
passing away, either the kids or relatives are coming to us on financing, and a lot of people don't want to do them. So let's talk about
let's
that.
talk about why they don't want to do
Yeah,
them.
but
Because
first,
there's reasons.
Can I do something first? Because
Sure.
I always forget this, and I can't forget it today. One, oh, you're right. Subscribe to the YouTube or wherever you're seeing this. Like it. If you have questions, leave the questions. We answer the questions. We really do. We see them and we answer and we monitor them. And I have to tell you, the comments that we get are fantastic, and we love them. So
we
that's
like to try to help people and give them information to be successful. That's the
our
point
best
of ours.
videos are the informative ones. So as a little background, Gelt Financial, and you can reach us at geltfinancial.com. Call us at 561-221-0900. We're private non-bank lenders. If you can go to a bank, if you have time to go to a bank and you have all your documentation in order, go to a bank. You're going to get a cheaper rate at a bank. We're not competitors to a bank.
We're an alternative solution.
Yeah, we're private capital.
Right.
Banks are tougher and tougher. More and more real estate investors and borrowers can't go to banks, and they come to companies like us, and they pay us a little bit higher rate in terms for the flexibility and the ease of use of dealing with a company like Gelt, and there's many companies like us. So let's get that straight first. People sometimes call
But I
up.
want to add something.
Please.
Why people come to Gelt?
Oh, yes,
even
please.
though there's many
You're
companies
right,
like
right.
us, they come to Gelt because you're dealing and you're talking to the decision makers every day on the phone, which is Jack and myself. And you have personal service. We care. We want to make sure that you get through. We get the loan closed for you. We have alternative thinking methods. We try to get everything done. We try to help our borrowers, and we put them on a pedestal.
Yeah,
sure.
people are coming to us. I think ultimately it comes for two reasons. One is believe it or not, about 50% of the borrowers come to us for speed. We closed the deal. I think it was. I'm losing track. The end of last week or the middle of last week, it was a small strip center in Buffalo, New York. Guy could go to a bank, but he just needed the money quick, so he came to us for a year and a refinance with a bank. We do those deals all the time. And then there's another 50% of the people who just can't go to a bank. It could be
borrowers.
Yeah, there are borrowers. It could be credit. It could be lack of income verification, or it could be they just don't like banks. And even though we're generally a short-term lender, we have deals a year to 5 years, we're constantly, I don't want to say every day of the week, but it feels like every day of the week, extending them. So let's say a borrower's on the books for a year or 3 years, Marcy will contact them about 90 days before. Hey, do you want an extension? We'll give them another year or 2 year or 3 year extension.
And also, to be honest, just to let you know that a lot of the borrowers, Jack, things change with them, and they sometimes ask us for additional money on their loan.
You're right.
So even though their term expired and then they come to us, they may say we need another $50,000, and we'll relook at obviously the property, get updated information, but that's also something that we can do, which is really nice. You don't have to go through a whole process with us. We modify your loan, and we can, increase your loan amount. Also, there's just so many options because we are the lender.
Yeah, and even though we're short-term lenders, we have, I don't know the exact number, 40 plus deals on the books for more than 15 years.
Wow.
15 years. So we're really not short-term lenders. Anyway, so that's the premise. So we wanted to make this video. We've been doing a lot, and it seems like we're getting more and more deals for people. Someone died and inherited a property. So why don't you talk a little bit about that? And I'll take a
Sure.
rest.
I mean, and most of the inherited properties are basically single-family homes. You
can see that. You can see that. You can see that now.
Okay, so they're pretty much single-family homes. So typically,
But by the way, this is not an act. This is what goes on all day.
Every day. It sometimes is kind of humorous and exhausting, but it's all good. It's all good.
It's not exhausting. It's
Sometimes.
invigorating.
Invigorating. Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
It gives you juice to keep going. All right, so they come to us, they inherit this property, and they need to get cash out of it. Most of them are free and clear, to be honest with you. And some of them have...
But not all. We just approved one. I think it was Michael's.
Yes, sometimes they're not, but the original lien on it needs to be paid off because it inherited, so sometimes the liens are called due. So they have to come to us because they need speed and they need it fast. So we look at it, we'll look at a pro forma to see like what type of rent or whatever could come in. If the deal makes sense, we could get it done really fast for you. The only thing is with inherited properties, which I just wanted to point out, is you have to make sure you have clear title. Okay, so that's just something to look into before when you inherit a property, to make sure that the title is in your name, that there's no probate open, there's no, if there's a trust, or you just have to make sure everything is clear for you to put a lien on it, to do a loan on it.
So someone should go to an attorney ahead of time.
Right.
You don't want to go through the whole process, get your hopes up and whatever. Go to an attorney ahead of time. Make sure that the title is cleared up, and it's a good idea to really pull a title. Yeah, make sure you're really the legal heir, the only legal heir. It's very
complicated. Right, because
complicated.
it gets complicated, and that's kind of why we're talking about this video. So if you do inherit, you really need to contact an attorney, because you have to make sure that there's no other family members that could ever put a claim on the property,
and you have the right to sign.
Right, that was another thing.
And borrow money.
Yeah, because you can't just put a lien on a property that you are not allowed to. Because if there was a single person owning the property and they pass and they leave the property to their child, or another relative, and then that relative comes to do a lien, do a loan, and it's all held in trust, you have to make sure that the will or there was permission for you to do a loan on it. So that's why there usually has to be an attorney involved.
And usually they're borrowing the money to fix it up and sell it,
right, or
to rent it out. Or sometimes they just want the cash for something else. It's already leased out.
Which is fine.
All of it's fine.
All of it's good. It's just a matter of, the key to an inherited property is to make sure that there's clear title and that you can do a loan.
And I also want to comment that it's also okay if the loan was in your parents' name and they unfortunately passed away and it's in default. It's in foreclosure.
Right, which is, we still look at it.
Yeah,
it's fine.
That's common. We do a good amount of deals with
them. And even some of them have like tax liens and, different judgment. We look at the whole thing. That's why it's best to know what you're dealing with, and that's why we usually, to pull title before you even go for a loan.
There is a sidebar. I've been fascinated with this subject for years. I don't think I ever told this to you. There is.
Tell me something?
Yeah, I know. I have to keep a little mystery.
A little.
There is an unprecedented amount of assets transferring from one generation to another now, more in any time in history. And there's a lot.
That's a very interesting conversation, though, because you would think that, the older generation, a lot of them go through all their funds. A lot of them do. But yet, there's this other side of, like, people have a substantial amount of real estate and money that's, like, going to be left to their heirs.
There is so much money that is been made by the baby boomer generation, the World War II, World War I generation, the people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, that is now being transferred to their children or their children's children. That's just unprecedented ever in time before.
Makes complete sense.
And it's literally trillions of dollars. So all of a sudden you have these people who just are regular people are inheriting huge amounts of money, it's fascinating. It's a social issue. What do they do with it? How do they deal with it? It's a whole separate.
We're always going to say, what's your best investment? Real estate.
That's a whole separate issue, but I don't know why. We're talking about that
inherited properties.
Yeah. So the bottom line is we're doing inherited properties, and there's all kinds of scenarios with this happens, and it's very complex. The best advice, I think, I don't want to speak for you, but I think is get an attorney up front who knows what they're doing and hire
a real estate attorney, just so that you can know, if the title is truly in your name, if you are the only heir. Is there going to be another relative that's going to, like, come after you, come after the situation? You have to make sure everything is clear, so that you could do a loan on it.
But we're doing those deals.
We are.
We're doing those deals.
We are. Just to, like, that's why we're making the video about it. I said to Jack, just recently in the past, 3 months, I've been getting one inquiry after another of an inherited property. So it's out there, and, we're really, honestly, the fastest solution.
Yeah, look,
So-
again, we're not a bank. There's cheaper out there for sure, and there's better terms out there for sure, but there's no one who's going to be more flexible and quicker than us. So what happens is we're a tool. We're something that people
Yeah,
are
we're
using,
a
a
vehicle to get
vehicle.
something done.
So people are coming to us to get the initial financing,
Right.
to rehab the property, to take it out of foreclosure, to clean up the title, whatever it is. Then they're either selling it or they're refinancing it into permanent financing. We realize we're not everything to everyone. We just play a small piece of the puzzle.
Absolutely. But that's our information for today.
Okay. Remember, check us out at geltfinancial.com. Leave us questions. We'll answer them. And most important, have a fantastic day.
Take
Thank you
care.
so much. Okay. That